Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to JCBs. In this space, we'll cover different areas of the business world in a very serious, academic, and boring manner. For instance, no way! Well, that's more like it. Hi everyone, welcome to JCBs. This time for real. In this space, indeed, we'll talk about different aspects of the business world, but in a more casual and down-to-earth way. Check it out. Back we are with a brand new video of JCBs. Again on our HR series, Human Resources. Today we are going to talk about the evolution of human resources, strategies pretty much, but we'll focus on the evolution of generations. So basically how every generation is different to each other and how then HR needs to change around them. Right, start with the talking, check it out. Let's go with the generations. Well, let's start with the silent generations, those who were born between 1925 and 1945. Look, back then, the motivation was just one, generally speaking, obviously, as with every generation. Motivation was just solely on being fed, survive, put a roof above their heads and their kids, nothing else. No luxuries, nothing like that. It was basically pure survival. They would have come from times where they would go hungry, so not being hungry, it was a great success. So what happens then? They were extremely easy to manage. They weren't slaves, but they wouldn't be far off. So bosses, not leaders, they weren't such people back then. Look, they could get away with pretty much anything. But here's the thing, after the silent generations, okay, the baby boomers, those born between 1946 and 1964. So these guys, look, there was a big change, big step from the previous generation to the baby boomers, because they will have, generally speaking, again, their basic needs covered. Like they will have a roof over their heads, they will get fed, probably getting fed better and better. Some of them, they would have gone to higher education, college. So the change is easy to see, right? And easy to feel. So what happens with these people? They would, their main motivation, it wasn't to cover the very basic needs, it was to increase their social status, give better opportunities to their children, as in going to college more and more, maybe even travel, have somehow of a social life. So yet again, for HR purposes, what was the big change? They weren't tough to manage, because they would still be influenced by their parents, the silent generation, but they weren't as easy to manage as the previous generation. So you need to give them some extra motivation apart from just survival. Now let's move on. So first, to summarize, we covered the silent generation. Main motivation was just survival. They were very, very easy to manage. Then we moved on to the baby boomers. Different motivation, but also easy enough to manage. The motivation was to increase their social status and give better opportunity to the children. And over their children, Generation X and Millennials. Generation X, those born within 1965 and 1980. Millennials from 1981 to 1996. So why would I put them together? Look, to me, that's my opinion, but if you have a different one, feel free to give us your feedback. We love your feedback. Half of the Generation X, they are quite similar to baby boomers, and then the other half, they are quite similar to millennials. So what would be the main difference between the generation and the previous two? Look, they will have their basic needs covered and some more. They will have a roof over their heads, probably with heating and a few home appliances, so life is getting easier and easier. But the main difference, in my opinion, is that particularly the millennials, they're the first generation to have very easy access to college, very manageable to get there in terms of how close their next college is, the cost of education, and as well, they were the first few generations, or the first generation, with easy access to travel. Particularly, let's put out the example of the EU. So in the EU, what provided to this generation? Freedom to travel, equal opportunities in different countries, as if they were local. Even now with the same currency, it's getting easier and easier. So these guys would have learned some languages as well. They're tougher to manage because they've seen the world. They realize that there are more opportunities apart from the ones you see just by your doorstep. So again, to please these guys is way tougher than to please the baby boomers, or particularly the silent generation. So what do these guys need? Look, a job just won't do. Good enough wages just won't do. Once they get a bit of experience, as they will have traveled, they want a career plan. They wouldn't be as picky as the newer generations, thankfully for them, but they want, again, a career plan, and not just anyone. A career plan that is exciting. They'll be patient in order to get there, but they want to know. So, in terms of HR, look, you can't be the type of boss or business owner that you were back in the day with the silent generation of the baby boomers. You need to go one step forward and guide these people towards performing. Obviously, as a business owner, you want the maximum performance from them, but it's not that easy. You need to work with them. You need to make sure they develop and to make sure they are happy. But if you make them happy, they'll make you happy. They are very career focused. Let's move on to the next generation. Generation Z and Generation Alpha. That's getting trickier. Well, now is when it's getting really, really interesting. The last two generations. Generation Z, those were born between 1997 and 2012. And then Generation Alpha from 2013 onwards. We can't talk much about them because they're not working yet, hopefully, fingers crossed. But then Generation Z, look, they're starting to work, they're starting their careers, and these guys, look, they're tough to please. Why is that? Basic needs, very well covered. Extra needs and some luxuries, very well covered. They will have had access to college education, they will have traveled, even studied abroad. They've seen the world, so they're tougher to trick and tougher to please as well. So a job won't do. Perhaps a career plan won't do. This will be a very, very exciting one. What else can we say? Look, they need, or they feel they need to live an experience when working. They need to like what they do, they need to love what they do, be involved with what they do, and they need to like who they do it for. So what does it mean in terms of HR strategy? Good luck pleasing these guys with outdated HR strategies. So basically, bosses nowadays, they need to be leaders, basically. Team leaders, they need to be a teammate, they need to lead by example, they need to be one more in the team who happen to be the bosses, but just don't push it. So just for pretty old-fashioned HR manager, bosses, business owners, yeah, you're gonna have fun with these guys. But look, if you adapt to them, you'll enjoy it and they'll be very productive as they have all the education and the background you need and more. Right, that was everything for today. I hope you like it, and remember, it's getting tougher and tougher to manage the newer generations. It is getting more and more exciting as well, which is good. And don't forget, treat them individually, treat them nicely, get the max out of them, and make sure they are happy, and they'll make you happy as a business owner. Right, now this is it for today. See you soon on another Chase Pace video. Talk to you soon. Bye now.